Star Trek teases the return of one of its most controversial characters. For decades, Star Trek has thrived on its ability to reintroduce old characters in new ways, sometimes to thunderous applause, other times to groans from fans who would have preferred those characters remain in the past. Now, it seems the franchise is poised to bring back one of its most controversial figures, and the implications could send ripples across the entire galaxy of stories Trek is telling. Controversial characters in Star Trek come in many forms. Some were written in ways that clash with the show's ideals. Others made decisions so divisive they fractured fan opinion, and a few simply became polarizing because of the performances or storylines tied to them. From the Klingon Chancellor Gowron's unpredictable leadership to the abrasive nature of Captain Jellicoe in The Next Generation, the franchise has never shied away from characters who stir debate. But few occupy as volatile a place in the fan consciousness as the one currently rumored to be on their way back. The legacy of a divisive figure. If rumors are true, the controversial figure being teased is none other than Admiral Catherine Janeway, but not the Janeway fans grew to respect and admire over the course of Star Trek, Voyager. Instead, the version that might return is a far darker one. Many fans still bristle when reminded of Janeway's decision in the episode Tuvix, where she authorized the forced separation of Tuvok and Neelix against the wishes of the hybrid crew member, effectively killing him. That single choice has haunted Janeway's reputation among Trek fandom for years. For some, it was the ultimate test of command responsibility, a morally complex decision made for the survival of her crew. For others, it was an unforgivable overreach of power that revealed the character's authoritarian streak. In the modern Star Trek era, where old debates are being revisited with fresh nuance, Janeway's decision remains one of the most hotly contested moments in franchise history. But Janeway is not the only contender for the controversial return. Another possibility lies in the return of Wesley Crusher. Though less morally divisive than Janeway, Wesley has long been a lightning rod for fans, thanks to his often perceived Mary Sue characterization in The Next Generation. When will Wheaton reprise the role briefly in Star Trek Picard? The response was mixed. Some celebrated his long-awaited return as a traveler, while others rolled their eyes at what they saw as another indulgence in a character they never wanted to see again. Either way, Star Trek seems eager to dive back into waters that are anything but calm. Why bring them back now? The return of a controversial character is never accidental. The modern Star Trek landscape thrives on serialized storytelling, interconnected narratives, and commentary that reframes the past for new generations. Bringing back someone like Janeway, or even Wesley, wouldn't just be nostalgia bait. It would be a deliberate effort to re-examine the character in light of today's audience expectations. In Janeway's case, a return could finally give the franchise the opportunity to address the Tuvix decision in a deeper way. Did she regret it? Does she stand by it with even greater conviction years later? The franchise has tiptoed around this moral dilemma for decades, but in an era where streaming shows thrive on character introspection and debate, this would be the perfect time to put it front and center. For Wesley, the narrative possibilities are equally intriguing. As a traveler, he has knowledge and abilities beyond the scope of traditional Starfleet officers. His return could create friction with the Federation, challenge its authority, or even destabilize its role in the galaxy. If used correctly, Wesley's controversial nature could become a narrative strength, an embodiment of how Trek questions authority, pushes boundaries, and forces its audience to grapple with uncomfortable ideas. The double-edged sword of controversy. Of course, bringing back a divisive character comes with risks. Fans are quick to embrace returns when they're handled with care. Spock in Star Trek 2009 or Q in Picard were largely celebrated because their appearances felt purposeful. But if a return is mishandled, the backlash can be swift and unforgiving. Consider the polarizing reception to Dr. Pulaski in The Next Generation's second season. Initially introduced as a harder-edged replacement for Dr. Beverly Crusher, Pulaski never won over the fandom, and her character quietly disappeared after one season. A modern revival of Pulaski, for example, would immediately spark debates about her dismiss.